From what I could remember when I was approximately 6 years old is when I became aware of life in general. As a child, I grew up with probably there was about 4 of us siblings who were old enough to participate in all the things that I did in just searching the areas where I lived in Dodgers Cove, which is Diana Island. We kind of just explored. I was a real curious person, a curious kid. We had a canoe, a dugout canoe. Me and my sister Violet, she was pretty tiny, but she was able to get around in a canoe and climb rocks and climb bushes. The reason why we climbed rocks was because there was lots of wild berries, and then we found out that we can hook up some kind of a lure, our homemade lure, to catch fish, little tiny fishes first. That's how it all started, that we became loving to fish because it was fun just fishing. My sister followed me everywhere. We ate berries. We were gone all day in a canoe, just rowing around Diana Island and Edward King, and we found out where we can get some seafood, what our people eat. Sea urchins and rock stickers we called chitin, and that is about all the things that we were interested in. I can remember clam digging in the winter time to survive. As we grew up, we learned all the things of our people, what they like, what we ate, what they fed us, and as we grew older, we learned to harvest ourselves as children, and we even went trolling until we started catching salmon. That is why most of us grew up as fishermen. We moved in seasons. When my father quit fishing, when it got too rough, we would move to Banfield Inlet, which is called Number 9 Reserve, and we'd be there for winter. But I can remember we lived in Sarita in the winters because of the weather. Then we'd move back to Dodgers Cove at fishing time and start all over again. And it was impossible to live in Dodgers Cove in the wintertime. I remember living there one winter and it actually snowed, and it was almost impossible to go across to Banfield, which was about half hour's ride in a boat, and it was very, very rough. Big swells and white caps and wind. So my father would go over there on a certain time when it's not too rough. And that was the only one winter that I remember living there. And after that, I don't remember staying there for winter. At that time, Banfield was like a real family to me. I mean, we didn't know we were Indians. And as the years went by, I remember when we were living in Number 9, somebody came and took me away. And my parents were, I can remember them speaking their language to me and saying, "I'm sorry, we didn't ask them to take you." And it must have been the people from the Indian Affairs collecting all school-age children. I was 9 at the time because my parents told me later on that they hid me for 3 years, that I don't go to the residential school. But they caught up to me when I was 9 years old. They took me off to the residential school, and there I stayed for 7 years. Then life began different for me when I entered the residential school. I loved it. It was different. It was easy. It wasn't hard like being at home. Living in a place where there's no electricity, there's no plumbing, and our homes weren't very nice. They were built by the government, and it was just shacks. That's all they were, and they were very cold, and it was heated by just wood stoves. And I find that residential school was good for me at the time because everything was so easy. You just flick a switch and you got light, proper baths, and the washrooms were inside. The food was so different. It wasn't the best, but when you're in a place like that, in an institution where you have no choices but to eat what they give you, and we lived it. I passed grades like nothing. I almost skipped every other grade because I was already old when I entered, so it was easy for me to go through school. But there was a time that I couldn't even speak my language anymore because they called us funny names that I don't understand. Now I do. That we don't speak these languages. It's not right. If we did speak our language, we got strapped for it. I can remember getting strapped on my hands because I didn't know the name of something. I completed 7.5 grades, and my parents didn't send me back in 1955 when I was just 15. In the 80s, I managed to land good jobs. I educated myself. I went to night school while my children went to school. But it seems like as life goes on, it follows me for the things that I learned. It's followed me to this day. People look up to me for things, but my main interest right now is to help my people to revive our language, because I found myself that I'm very fluent yet. It's something that was not allowed at the residential school. At that time I didn't care because nobody spoke the language there. Everybody's English, so I was very comfortable learning that. I wasn't very good in English when I first went to the residential school because everyone spoke the language. But today, it's only natural for me to teach, especially small children. So that's what I'm doing today. And I'm trying to mingle with all ages, no matter who they are or what they do. I still follow the school children here in Bamfield to remind them what I taught them in class, at our language class. I'm trying to keep them going. And now I'm going to school to teach our language or teach anything. We've had our ups and downs in life. It helps me to live the best way I can.